Mr. Speaker.
I call Rino Tirikatene.
Malo e lau mali e, Mr. Speaker. Warm Tongan greetings from the member for Te Tai Tonga, and I'm pleased to speak in support of this Canterbury Earthquakes Insurance Tribunal bill. It is 8 years to the day, sir, since we had that initial quake in the 4th of September 2010, which started the series of seismic events which have totally transformed and affected the whole Canterbury region. And so I, as is customary, I note all those difficulties that have been that families have gone through, but in particular I also think of the fatalities as well. In particular, Mr. Ducey was talking about Kaiapoi. That's our home pa, where I come from, and
village,
and the whanaunga that we lost in that. So
relations. May those rest in peace be at rest, and we the living
pleased to speak in
gathered today.
I think what we've heard this afternoon, sir, is a half full, half empty glass debate. But I'm pleased that all of the parties of this House are in support of this bill at its first reading, because this is fulfilling a promise that we made. I want to commend Minister Little, Minister Wood for their work in bringing this bill to the House. And what we're doing here, sir, is we really want to get to the completion of the tale of outstanding unresolved insurance claims which are affecting so many families across the Canterbury region. I too deal with cases of whānau that are still in suboptimal situations within their houses, whether it's drafts or uneven living conditions and the like. And so this is a means for us as a parliament to actually put a mechanism in place whereby we can deal with these cases and make sure that they can be resolved. 8 years is a long time, sir. 8 years, and then the subsequent events that happen later, it is a long time for families to be under the stress and the difficulties that they have faced in dealing with these insurance matters. And this bill, sir, puts in place a user-friendly type process. We are putting in place a tribunal process. It's an inquisitive process. It's not adversarial. It also provides the option of case management conferences to fully independent, fully funded, mediation. So it is tailored to ensure that those policyholders, if they so choose, can elect to go down and use this tribunal process to ultimately get to a resolution of their insurance claim. And so we are wholeheartedly in support of that. Yes, there will be issues, I guess, that have been raised in the debate so far, sir, and I'm sure the Government Administration Committee will be carefully going through all of those issues, and I'm sure submitters will be raising those and many others, because we want to make sure that we get this as right as we can, and certainly if there are little tweaks that can be made, as long as we're improving the ultimate outcome, which can ultimately lead to the resolution of these claims, then I think that's what we should be doing as parliamentarians. And so I acknowledge the contributions that have been made, and ultimately this is taking action because the overhang has just been lasting too long, and families and policyholders, they want resolution. They have been worn out. I know many that have been just simply worn out by the whole process and gave up and maybe settled for something suboptimal. But this is a process for those remaining claims to be able to go confidently at their own election, to be able to access a range of different processes to ensure that they can get to the outcome that hopefully will bring finality to the matter. And then, of course, sir, it is just an option. There is always the courts that we have there to deal with the more complex issues, to deal with the more, I guess, litigious issues that only courts can examine and can adjudicate upon. And so this is just merely putting in a mechanism of a tribunal, specialist tribunal, a range of different avenues which a policyholder can elect, and the aim is, as has been mentioned, speed, flexibility, and of course being cost effective as well, because 8 years of seeking legal advice and being at wars with insurance companies, whether it's EQC, is not cheap, and I'm sure a lot of expense has been outlaid in that intervening period. And so that's what we want to achieve with this legislation, sir. We want to eliminate that tail, deal with all of these cases, and ultimately the outcome that we want is for those policyholders to reach finality with their claims. It may be to their satisfaction, it may not be, but at least this is a mechanism whereby it can come to a conclusion and they can move on with their lives. And with that, sir, I commend this bill to the House.
I call Nukrako.
Malo malulei, e te mana whakawa. Huri no e te